Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. There, of course, has been a ton of conversation, a lot of drama and controversy around the physical copies of Grand Theft Auto 6. Rockstar was basically the first to confirm that discs are on their way out when they announced that GTA 6 with the physical copies, if you were to go over to your GameStop, your Best Buy, your Walmart, wherever your local retailer is, and pick yourself up a physical copy on November 19th, when you open that case up, you are not going to see a little rounded disc in there with the Grand Theft Auto 6 artwork on there. You are going to see a digital code that you will take home, go onto your Xbox dashboard or your PlayStation dashboard, and redeem that code to download your now digital version of Grand Theft Auto 6. This has been a major talking point since, and obviously PlayStation then said, hold on, we'll do you one better. There are going to be no discs for anything starting in 2028, and that's obviously been a huge thing the past couple of weeks. They're still getting backlash for that, and they don't seem to really care, unfortunately. But the whole situation with the GTA 6 discs, the entire physical copy situation, seemingly just got even worse, because we just got some new information about how some of this is going to work with the physical codes and these physical copies of GTA 6. And it's even more annoying than we thought. So Pirate Nation ends up posting this. I've seen this tweet go around my timeline a bunch right now. I've seen a couple of different articles posted about this on some of the gaming news sites. Rockstar has confirmed that the download code in Grand Theft Auto 6's physical edition in Japan is going to expire 170 days after its issue date. The game's launch date, the day of November 19th. So 170 days after November 19th, 2026, that code is going to expire basically. Now, this restriction only applies to Japan as of right now. Rockstar has not announced the same policy for physical editions in other regions, but they do say in this, rundown of how the game is available, where it's available, anything that you need to know for certain regions. In the Japan region, product codes in Japan will expire 170 days after the issuance date, which is the launch date, November 19th, due to regional regulations. So this complicates things even further. Not to mention, in addition to this 170-day expiration date, these physical codes are also region locked. So if you were to, say, take a trip to Japan, you buy the game there, but then you go to a different country, you try and redeem that code, it's region locked. You wouldn't be able to actually redeem it if you live somewhere else but picked up a copy in Japan. Like, obviously that's an interesting situation, a niche situation that's probably not going to happen for a vast majority of people, but it is a situation that could happen, and it makes things even more annoying. But this 170-day expiration date is weird. This presumably means that the stores there have to keep up with their actual stock and make sure they're not selling a copy that's 170 days old. Now, to be fair, this is GTA 6. It's going to be flying off the shelves like crazy, even with the no discs. People are still going to be going nuts picking up the physical copies there. So the chances of a copy that's sitting there on November 19th still being available 170 days later, probably pretty slim, but it's still, again, an added step, an added nuisance that's now involved in this situation because of how they're doing this with no discs fully out there now. You also got to wonder, okay, let's say someone purchases a copy on November 19th because they really want GTA 6, but they don't have a PlayStation 5 or an Xbox Series X yet. They're going to get that later on in the year. Maybe it's 170 days later and they're in Japan. Well, now, can they even go through and redeem that code because it's been 170 days? There's a bunch of different situations you could make up here where this would cause a further problem. Now, a lot of them are like minority situations, very niche situations that would be rare cases, but the fact that they exist at all in the first place is what's really frustrating about all this. What if you buy the copy on day one because you're planning to give it to a friend for their birthday, but it's in 190 days and you know they're not going to be getting it at launch, they're okay with waiting? Like, again, creates this whole unnecessary situation here. So you have all the backlash going on from the GTA 6 copies themselves not actually being physical, they're just a download code. You have all the backlash at Sony for really being the pioneer of this. Xbox, for what it's worth, is basically following suit. Like, there's been a lot of people saying, oh, maybe they'll release digital editions and physical editions later, like when the new consoles come out. What's going to happen then? Well, we know PlayStation's not planning to have discs at all in the new console. Xbox is not either for Project Project Helix, so that theory gets tossed out the window. Like, the whole concept of owning a disc and having that guaranteed insurance of you fully own that copy is dwindling by the day. And in addition to that, it's now becoming even more frustrating and even more annoying when it comes to ensuring you can actually use the code, play the game beyond certain dates. I will say I'm really hoping this whole situation is some kind of misunderstanding, like the way that the Japanese laws for this stuff is being misinterpreted or it's being misconveyed on the Rockstar website. Maybe this is intended for certain like DLC or like downloadable options, like some of your pre-order bonus packs or things like that, and it's not this situation of it's the full game where like you have to use this code within the time limit or the entire game is going to be like bricked unusable. It just seems like that is too ridiculous of a situation to fully be the case, and maybe there's some kind of misunderstanding or misinterpretation here going on. We're going to have to wait and see. And I thought this was kind of interesting as well. GTA 6 Countdown ended up posting this clip the other day. Rockstar Games co-founder and former lead GTA and Red Dead Redemption writer Dan Houser, who I'm sure you guys all know the name of, we've been talking about Dan quite a bit in our GTA 6 coverage, he actually commented on PlayStation's plan to end the physical disc production, saying, "I love physical media. I think everyone loves physical media. If people want that, I think that companies should provide it." So that's a very interesting perspective, a very loud perspective coming from one of the biggest names in gaming for the past, several years, for a long time now. So even former Rockstar people, a former co-founder at Rockstar, is saying, yeah, there should be discs. So I'm sure he probably wasn't thrilled when he saw. I'm sure he might have known beforehand, because of his ties to Rockstar and everything, but I'm sure he wasn't super thrilled when he heard for the first time, oh yeah, by the way, we're not doing any discs. Oh, and PlayStation's gonna stop doing that altogether here in a few years time. Like, they're gonna ramp up on that pretty quick. So this entire situation here with physical copies for GTA 6 and then even games beyond is getting more convoluted and more frustrating by the day for consumers. Obviously, there's still a ton of people who probably won't care too much about this. They're going to go digital. It's not a huge deal. But in terms of content ownership and actually being in full control of what you purchased, it seems like those days are quite numbered here, and the regulations with expiration dates now being involved in things, having to, log on to PlayStation with an internet connection every 30 days so that the licenses can restore on your titles. And if you don't do that, you then can't play your games until you do connect to the internet and restore those licenses. Like, they're just adding more and more steps here, more roadblocks that you have to go through every time you want to purchase or play a game, and more things you got to be considerate of. It's like, oh, okay, if I don't do this, will I still be able to play my game? If I have to wait for this, will I still be able to own my game? Like, it's just kind of a crazy situation here. That being said, that is going to wrap things up for this video. Definitely not a great situation to begin with, and it seems to just be getting a little bit worse here as time goes on. But if you guys enjoyed the video, despite the not so great news, a like rating is always appreciated. It's a great way to help grow the channel, help inform more viewers. And of course, if you're new here, you want to stay up to date with everything going on with GTA 6, there is no better place than right here. So feel free to hit that subscribe button and turn on those post notifications. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in. And until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you later. Peace out.